I'm the last speaker standing between you and lunch, so I will make it brief and tell you what we are doing. So I got into this whole green hydrogen space as part of our venture Hydreen, which was set up last year to set up a couple of 250 plus megawatt green hydrogen plants in a couple of states. So while we started doing that project and we set up the processes of manufacture, we came across this problem that we are going to manufacture hydrogen, but who's going to buy it? How do I find buyers for this? And then I started talking to a whole lot of people, not just in India, but in Europe, in the US, in Africa. And I realized that there is this huge gap which has come up where the buyers and sellers don't know each other in the hydrogen economy. So instead of talking to you about how we are going to make hydrogen, which is part of my venture called Hydreen, I'm going to talk to you about a business model change. As Mr. De Silva said, that it's not about fixing a problem that has happened and then you step in and fix it. How do we fix it before this problem starts? So if you take a look at the oil industry has been bought and sold. Oil has been bought and sold in exchanges for decades. And it is completely filled with middlemen. So essentially there is a known buyer and seller and they trade on exchanges. So what we intend to do is to create the world's first global trading exchange for green hydrogen ecosystem products. Like we are going to look at green hydrogen, green ammonia, ethanol, methanol, also add sustainable aviation fuel and other things which are leading to decarbonization. So there is a problem of demand and supply matching. And when we look at this demand and supply matching, there are technology solutions that we can export from India. Though this company, GreenEarthX Exchange, is a global company. We are based out of the US, and we have got subsidiaries that we are setting up in Europe, in Africa. We are going to work with Siggy and his team at the AHP and figure out how to bring in all the players in the African market. We are also looking at Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, and India, obviously. We have all talked about this. Where was gray hydrogen being used and where the green hydrogen is going to be used? The market is changing dramatically, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because you have heard it from all the speakers since the morning. So what is the problem here? The problem is that the buyers and sellers don't know each other. And they don't, a couple of slides later, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, but let me mention it. But most of the projects are not getting funded, and you mentioned it also, that these projects are not getting funded because we don't know who's going to buy it. If you knew the buyer, there will be somebody ready to finance the project. How do I solve that problem? When Amazon got first created, let's say a book was costing $1, maybe 300 rupees to make a book. You bought a book, but it was impossible to ship that book. It would cost about 600 rupees to ship that book to some other place. So Amazon would have been a business dead in the water if they had been modeled on shipping cost of each book. But they figured out how to charge you 300 rupees for the whole year, and now the book and many, many books can be shipped for 10 rupees. They got scale into the business. They brought predictability into their business to reduce their cost of operation. Can we do that in the hydrogen business before it becomes a problem and then try to fix it later? That is the objective with which we have started this company. We are looking at the carbon polluters, and you mentioned it, sir, that the people who are polluting are in one geography. They should be subsidizing the people who are coming up fresh. Well, the problem of pollution and the solutions of decarbonization are in different geographies. The cost of producing the solutions are far less in Africa, are far less in India, but the people who are polluting need to buy these facilities out of these markets. They need to buy green. Where do I find verifiable and trusted sources of green? So we came up with a problem statement. One, can we certify locations across the world and make that certificate available and recognizable and trusted across the world? Second, can we use that certified product and trade it in the market? That's the problem we are trying to solve. A non-discriminatory exchange is what is required in the market today. A market which is based on the new global financial model of not bringing everything to one currency. A model in which local geographies can trade their own products and services in their own geographies to their own local markets and also to global markets, make the inventories available across the world in different currencies. So we are going to reduce the risk of the world today of certain currencies dominating the world. We are also going to reduce the risk of economic imbalances that are there in the world. So those are some of the main constructs. We are going to start with ammonia and with methanol because we are seeing that the demand for this across the world. There are buyers. As soon as we announced our hydreen plants, we started getting calls from people who were interested in green methanol. And they asked us if we could produce and supply them. For the next 1.5, 2 years, people were willing to commit to that, commit to our production. So there are buyers, there are sellers. Can I bring them to the same market, right? Can we look at green hydrogen? That would be our second. Third one would be green energy itself. We don't see that to be a problem and being traded today in a global market, but we will very soon find ourselves, because our grids are not connected, we are going to find this coming slightly later. We are also going to allow carbon credits and IRA credits from the US being traded on this market. This is like the loyalty points. We are not a carbon credits market. We are not a carbon market. We are a hydrogen market. Carbon credits are the loyalty points coming out of that market, and we'll allow people to trade on that also, right? I'm going to skip through this slide. Go back here. This is where hydrogen is happening across the world. 75%, and I say 75% because it was in the IEA capacity, but there's a lot of people who would actually say the number is more, do not have offtake agreements. Announcements are there. 10% are funded only. But 75% don't have an agreement at all. That is the market opportunity that we are trying to solve over here. Right? We have got a phased approach to the geographies that we are going to be. What we want to do is to say, why can't an existing exchange do this job? Why can't a commodities exchange like IEX can do it? One, because the players are very different. When I started Hydreen, we were absolutely brand new players, and the players in the hydrogen market are very new people. They have not traded anything in the past. The market and the products are not mature products. There is a lot of variability on the quality and what is green and how much of it is green. Whether it remains green when it gets shipped over on a ship from one place to the other. So there's a lot of factors which are different that cannot be handled in today's exchanges. This is not a commodity similar to rice and grain or even oil, actually, even crude. Crude, there are only 4 or 5. When they started trying to do a variation in crude based on quality in the US, they got all kinds of results, and they basically had to stop that. So therefore, there is a problem that needs to be solved. The problem needs to be solved globally, not just here in India. And that's why we are presenting ourselves to be a global solution, not just from India. The production, storage, complexity, all the other speakers told you about how difficult it is to produce, transport, store hydrogen. That also is very different than other commodity markets, right? So we'll have 4 specific things that we are going to allow. Spot trading of the molecule, futures trading of long-term contracts, IRA credits, and finally, a consumer side application, which is going to allow different consumers who want to balance a portfolio of decarbonization products to help them. So if a steel industry like yours, sir, wants to do it, they have to buy all of them. They have to buy futures, they have to buy spot, they have to buy the carbon credits. I need to give them a tool to balance their entire portfolio so that in one screen they can see their carbon impact. Today they have to go to various platforms, trade, try to use some other product to bring all the data together to figure out whether they are carbon neutral or not. I want to create that single portfolio, single pane of glass coming out from there. Just from a technology standpoint, anyway, this I mentioned that we are going to be trading the green hydrogen, ammonia, bulk berthing storage companies. Hydrogen, ammonia, methanol will be the products, and also the consumers will be on the platform, and finally traders. Till you bring traders on the marketplace, you will not have price stability. And hydrogen today, or ammonia, and all of these do not have price stability. Ammonia markets, if any of you are trading in this market, you will see it fluctuate 100, 200, 300% based on certain geographic incentives or news things that are happening across the world. So that kind of price instability does not give anybody confidence to have a long-term contract. So we need to bring traders who are going to ensure this long-term stability of the market. So our current footprint is going to be in the US, in Europe, and then we are going to have Middle East and Africa, India, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Japan. We also are considering bringing in a couple of other geographies which are presenting huge potential. One of them, obviously, is Australia. And by the way, I am Australian, so it will help. And finally, South America. There's a huge supply of green energy and incentives. The other reason why this marketplace is needed is because the incentive structure is going to remain for the next 10 to 15 years. And these incentive structures are very different in different markets. There is an ability to create an arbitrage opportunity that you produce in Chile and you bring it in Saudi Arabia and it is still going to be cheaper. I'm just naming two countries out of the blue. But there will be arbitrage opportunities to trade globally, to ship globally, and to still be economically viable. So that's my presentation today. Hopefully, people who are in the market producing, we will partner with you. People who are, the last thing that I wanted to mention is that this whole global trading platform is going to be built on the Beacon protocol, which is similar to the ONDC platform that India is doing. So it will be a digital public infrastructure for the world. I'm working with the FIDE organization. So we are going to export the context of what we are doing in ONDC, which is an open network for digital commerce. For those of you who don't know, that is the replacement, that is the public infrastructure that the government has pushed on to not have monopolies. And some of the people talked about not having technology monopolies, not have financial monopolies. And over here, we are going to build this platform and open source it. So countries can take this whole platform and have their own exchange in a heartbeat. We want to open source it. We want to create APIs into your own markets, into your carbon markets, into your production systems, and be able to trade in your own currencies and in your own geographies. And this is a technology from India going to the rest of the world. Thank you.